lunch. Gonna try my hand at making ratatouille tonight, so we'll see. Anyway, okay, yeah. So let's have a conversation. Lightyear flopped. I don't know where it's gonna wind down to, but it'll probably end up with the domestic box office opening weekend of under 50 million, which is, I don't think it's gonna break even. But what does it say? First off, JPEG let the scumbags at Pixar do whatever they wanted. Fine, you want it, you own it. So they did, and nobody came. All right, nobody had anything to do with it. All right, they left that same-sex kiss in there, etc., etc., and it was literally like, okay, fine. But it wasn't just that. That alone isn't the reason. Getting rid of Tim Allen because he's a Trump supporter. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. In my opinion, that should be illegal. That's, hey, Joe, that should be illegal. That's discrimination. All right. Your political affiliations should not keep you away from getting a job. Just me. So we've got Tim Allen cooling his heels. And then we've got, Chris Evans, who's a lightning rod of woke stupidity, whining and crying. And the show was woke. It was attack the white man, Buzz Lightyear, and make him look like a buffoon. Valiant Renegade had a great video on it. I would highly suggest you watch it. I think he actually went to it. And look, if you want to see a movie, go to Top Gun Maverick. Okay, just go. And then you'll have a good movie to see, and you won't walk away going from it. Okay, it is really interesting to me watching how this played out. Chapek gave the Wokasauruses at Pixar and at Disney what they wanted, and they failed. They failed. He let them hang themselves on their own petard, as it were. And watching this happen, see, I knew it was going to happen. Ever since all the crap came down in March, and knowing that they were gonna leave that, put that thing back in there, and knowing that it's not just that particular issue, but the whole thing is trash. I gotta say, when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is going to come back and bite this little crew of jackasses and fuckheads in the ass badly, and it did. Why? The American people don't want their kids involved. All right. I have a friend who's gay named Joe. Joe has done a lot of things, and he left the lifestyle. A lot of things out there. And everything woke people say about that is a lie, and he will tell you that. Health issues, I've had, and I'm not saying that, people that have same-sex attraction are bad, but what I'm saying is that there's only a little sliver that these groomers, and they are groomers, will tell you, okay, about it. And, excuse me, it really is offensive to me to see this romanticized view of that. I've had health people in the military basically telling me that most of the STDs that they get aren't heterosexuals. It's same sex in both, whatever. Okay, and The biggest problem I have with the groomers, the Latondra Newtons and the LaToya Ravenos and all the rest of this trash, they don't tell the truth. They don't talk about the dark underlying bad stuff that goes on, okay? And if you talked to Joe, and if I ever get this thing up to where I can actually have people on, I will have Joe on, and it will open your eyes. You guys will go, holy crap, hey Lawrence, and be like, okay, so this is not what, no, it's not what you think. It's not, all right? And in my opinion, that is something that we need to talk about, okay? Talk about issues involving other, straight heterosexuality. But how come none of the really icky things that go on the other things are talked about? Think about it. That's a big problem. All right. And it is something that I think people, that when parents start to think about it and start to see what their kids are exposed to, are afraid of. Okay? Definitely afraid of. And I don't blame the parents. If I had kids, I would not let them go to public schools. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm at the store today, and there was I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl, kid going through the self-checkout line. And, this person was monitoring. And I don't know what they were trying to emulate. Was it like Robert Smith 30 years ago? I'm not kidding. And very sad, despondent looking person. Old punkers were cynical and are cynical bastards. But they never quite had this dead look in their eyes. And this kid had a dead look in and I'm going to say her eyes. Black lipstick, white, purposely put on white makeup, like stage makeup. Hair was green, they looked like the Joker. I'm not kidding. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't want my kids exposed to that. I would not. This is why Lightyear has to fail. Okay? Because a romanticized version of this shit isn't real. All right? Isn't real. And they're trying to put something out there that isn't true. All right? And Chapek knows this. He knows parents are going to go, I'm not going to let my kid go see that shit. And when I hear even fans who didn't like it saying, well, that's not what bothered me. That didn't bother you in a kid's show. Oh, I've heard, Joe, I have a friend who, our next door neighbor in Carlsbad when we lived in California, who told me about that at her middle school. It's like, the health issues are going to be astronomical for these people. And it's cynical on the part of people, the people in power. The more people not reproducing, the smaller the population will be. That's what they want. This is all just a plan. I know I sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but I can't think of another reason. Okay? I really can't. For all this woke trash being shoved down children's throats. Okay? This pisses me off in all kinds of ways that can't even be quantified. But so what happens? If the show does not break even, and it won't. I believe in my heart of hearts that Bob Chapek is going to start cleaning a house at Pixar. We talked about John Lasseter, and Lasseter, I believe, got railroaded. I think that Kennedy knew he was up to take over her spot at Lucasfilm. And I really believe that. And she got him fired. She did it. And that was at a time when Iger still felt sorry for her. But I do believe that she was the one that did it. And you can just tell after he left how far down good. I mean, I'd be like, don't hang out with them. I mean, tolerance to me means you tolerate their presence, but you're not friends with them. You don't hang out with them. You don't do anything with them. Okay? And don't bully them. Just best thing, ignore them. Ignore them. Look, part of the reason why people do shit like that is because they want to be noticed. Like that kid today at work, at the store. The weirder they are, the more people notice them. Okay? And, you know, for some reason they get a hang up going, oh, well, I'm going to be this kind of weirdo and people will have to pay attention to me and give me what I want. Well, what do you want? I don't know. You know, I'm very interested in where this is all going to go at Disney now, because obviously this shit's failed. I mean, everything that Iger put out there in the last 7, 8 years is crashed. This is still the ramifications of all this bullshit. These people were hired in 2017. These people at Pixar got, John Lasseter fired. These people don't give a shit if it's successful. Yes, it is hard work. And they just want their activism out there. Okay? They want their activism out there. That's it. And you have to be discerning about it. Like, I was getting shit on Twitter from some people about liking Kenobi and calling them out. For not liking it and not having an intelligent argument against it. All right. It's really interesting to me watching all this happen, how watching this go down, and it was like, you guys don't know what you're watching. And they don't look. They can't see what battle to fight, what hill to fight on. The SJWs planted their flag on Lightyear and, are done. This is it for them. Now, they're going to say 50 million is great, because they're not. Look, when you're talking to somebody like Pablo Hidalgo, talking to his stupid wife, talking to Molly Damon or some other SJW, they don't understand business. They don't understand money. They don't understand profit and loss. And they don't understand that there are vast majorities of people out there that do not want that shit in their entertainment, especially now. All right, there's enough shit out there without these people in entertainment being activists, okay, which is, again, what they are. On the other hand, there's enough shit out there for the fans to not attack each other over a show like Kenobi. I mean, look, when I was told I didn't know anything about Obi-Wan Kenobi by somebody, I'm like, I know more about Star Wars than you do, and I know more about good writing. I might not be a screenwriter, but I didn't get straight A's in the history of film and literature classes, and other film classes to not know what I was watching. Okay? It is unbelievable to me watching this happen. Because you're watching it, it's just, everybody's attacking each other now. It's a bad thing about YouTube and Twitter. You know, first off, I really think that, again, Coppola, Scorsese, and others are right, that Marvel has really ruined film. People don't have to sit there and watch. I don't think any of them care. Look, we've got a lot of people in the fandom that think if Disney fails enough, it'll go under. Reality check. Disney's not going anywhere. They might have to trim down. They might sell some stuff off. Disney's not going anywhere. This is not a hill to die on. Okay? The hill to die on, we already won that fucking battle. That was a sequel trilogy and Solo. Oh, hard work, I'm talking about that. And that's what I'm talking about. And we've got people who don't get it. They don't. I don't. You know, when you ask them, what did you want? And of course, you know, this is how the goalposts get moved back. Somebody goes, well, that fight in this last one should never have happened. What the fuck? That's the extent of his argument. He doesn't have any intellectual foundation on it. It was going to happen. And it was good. Okay? Look, again, these people are prequel haters. Okay, they hated, they're mad at George Lucas for destroying their childhood. Hayden Christensen triggered them, and now we've got this dumpster fire going on in the fandom. And they're allowed to have a voice. And there's no intelligence or education or aptitude behind it. It's just a lot of, you know, screaming, ranting, and raving because they can. And look, the internet's made a lot of people miserable, and they talk to each other. All right. They don't, in education, I mean, look at this. If this show was made 20 years ago, people would have gotten it. People would have had it figured out. If this had been in Rebels, people would have understood it. Because those people are real Star Wars fans that watch that stuff. Okay. And when you've got people who really are obsessed with hate for Disney, no matter what it does, nothing that Disney does that's good is going to pass muster with them because they want that company gone. They think it's the big bad boogeyman. I remember a guy who was a screenwriter, his name was Skip Press, and he was telling me about how bad Disney was, and that was the evil empire, and that was like in 2009. Okay, so not like Disney didn't have a Machiavellian mystique to it. It did back then. However, there were other reasons. It was the way they ran the company. All right, fact that they didn't keep promises. Fact that corporations are greedy. Okay. Now we have people who, in the fandom, who not only hate the show, but if you tell them you like it and call them up for it, they'll attack you personally. Okay? And that's where I end it. Okay? I liked it. I mean, look, these are the same people that chased off of YouTube. Okay? These are the same people. All right? These are the same people who wouldn't make intelligent people who actually are thoughtful in what they see and watch feel good about it and feel good about being part of a group. All right. And again, it's become a gatekeeping community. All right. Now, I do gatekeep. I gatekeep against sequel trilogy fans and so Soilo fans and Stone Republic fans. And the reason why is because they're not Star Wars fans. Okay, they're not. And we don't need to have that spelled out for us. We know that. It was amazing. I mean, go. Jay, are you still on Twitter? The reason I have a question for you then. I am really shocked. Okay, I'm really angry at a lot of people. I'm really just like, when I say shocked, that intelligent people can't see, aren't aware of themselves. Okay, they're biting themselves in the ass by doing this. Look, I have people coming here all the time now saying they don't feel comfortable anywhere else. That if they hate part of the Disney Star Wars thing, that they have to hate all of it to be part of a group. I'm on Twitter, Jay, and I'm extremely angry at the people making them feel that way. The women in the fandom, I don't like any of them. I don't. And the reason why is because they're backstabbers and they're phonies and they're fake. Okay. Just like in any other group of women. They stamp on, and I'll tell you something. They kick each other's ass when one of them leaves the room, the other three will start barking and stamping at their back, behind their backs. That's what women do. Okay, that's what women do. I don't do that, but they do that. Okay, they don't want you to belong if you don't agree with them 100%. And they sit there and say, no, you can like it if you want. No, you can't. No, you can't. Because they won't let you have the moment to give your explanation of why you like something. Okay. Like I said, I think all these people should go and be thrown into a burlap sack with the SJWs and fight it all out. Well, Jay, it's really funny. I called it when I said they were going to move the goalpost back. I knew it, and they are. I mean, we got people saying the fight where it's obvious that Obi-Wan basically showed Vader, I am the master, and then he calls him Darth at the end. That was a real cutting remark. And then the Emperor is basically like, what the fuck are you doing being obsessed with that guy? You fucked up. And you got your ass kicked, by the way. Leave it alone. And, look, he asked, he basically said, are you sure you're thinking clearly about this? He was right. But that's not good enough. That's not good enough. And I don't know what they want because they can't describe it. Hey, David, and all of them wanted an Obi-Wan show. They got one, and now we have this. I'm literally speechless at this. It wasn't woke, and I'm sure they're going to complain about Reva sort of redeeming herself, but when I looked at her, I'm like, she's still a dark... I know, Joe. She's still a dark side user. She's basically a Sage Ventress. Okay, that's who she is. She was used and abused by the person she thought was her master, just like Asajj was. Oh my God. I mean, then you realize these people have never seen Clone Wars. They don't know who Ventress is. Yep. Yep. I mean, you know, and it's just okay. I'm gonna be talking spoilers here, Dave. I don't know if you want to hang around. Okay. There's so much going on in the show that's good, and for the fandom to attack it outright just sickens me. It just fucking sickens me. It's just, we didn't need that fight. We already had it in Mustafar. No, you didn't. Not this way. Vader, again, had to be shown a lesson. And look, in episode 5, when they're juxtapositioning that flashback that kind of wasn't, because Obi-Wan wasn't de-aged, they're juxtapositioning that with what was going on in the present was something very important that went right over everybody's heads. The argument between Anakin and Obi-Wan, because I'm going to tell you something. He can sit there and say Anakin is dead, that he destroyed him. But in the end, that's who's screaming at Obi-Wan as he walks away with that scar on his head that Obi-Wan gave him. All right? And it was, I mean, I didn't need Obi-Wan to kill him. I didn't need him to leave him passed out and dying. He humiliated him. That's far more important. That's far more important than killing him. Why? Shows the Emperor that Vader has a long way to go. Okay? And by the time we see him in Rogue One, they're not the same guy. Okay? Look, if you don't think people change, you're wrong. If you think people change, you're wrong. People change. They don't. Look, when I think of Luke Skywalker, I don't see a guy who forgets where he came from, his heritage, his training, who he is, what he means to the galaxy, what his mission is in life. But I do see a guy who is unsure of himself, and everybody goes through this. A guy who's afraid he's going to make a mistake. Everybody goes through this. I see things that all of us go through. When I see Obi-Wan, I see a guy who thought he had killed his best friend, his brother, his son. Yep, it is. And then the whole thing, Darth, just to piss him off. But you can't look at characters as static. Okay, Obi-Wan watched and did to Anakin what gave him the armor and the suit. Okay, that's part of Obi-Wan's legacy, whether he likes it or not. All right, and it has, in the promise he made to Qui-Gon Jinn to train the boy, wasn't kept. I mean, he kept it, but in the end, he failed at it. He failed to teach Anakin measured patience, discipline, that there are other ways to fight battles. Okay? He failed because he could not conquer Anakin's hubris, arrogance, courage, and his insufferable need to win. All right? Obi-Wan in episode 5 humiliates him, gets away. Obi-Wan in episode 6 Obi-Wan in episode 6 humiliates him again. I mean, throwing, force push, throwing rocks at him, takes part of his mask off. So you have that synthesized voice between Hayden and James Earl Jones. And it is so yeah. I mean, and he never look when you all right. Here's the deal: when you meet people like that, like a football player, like think of the most arrogant football player you've ever heard of, right? Everything they touch, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Everything they touch is golden. They score touchdown after touchdown, sack after sack. You're looking at someone who's emotionally stunted, who has not matured. That is Vader's ultimate failure, okay? He's very proud of himself that he killed Anakin, you know? Very proud of himself. Why? Because he's very happy being in that angsty 18-year-old stage forever until reality hits him. And reality doesn't hit him until he finds out Luke is his son. Because the only person in the galaxy that could have fixed this was Padme. That's the shadow and the big elephant in the middle of the room. Okay? And Obi-Wan never thought of that. Obi-Wan, his last experience, of course, with Vader is him screaming his name as he's walking away from him. Oh, Joe, I think you're right. And I think if Kenobi and Anakin had gone to Utapau, probably, or if Kenobi, so another Jedi had gone there, and Kenobi had stayed at the temple and gone with Anakin to help Mace, none of this shit would have happened. Okay. He would have been able to talk Anakin off the ledge. But you're right, and Jay is right there too, so there's that we don't really know issue. But when you're dealing with someone like Anakin Skywalker, and you know he's not going to progress beyond that maturity level until something really shakes him, you're stuck, all right? You're stuck. He's going to get colder. He's going to get more patient in lots of ways. He's going to use more energy planning and things rather than aggressively attacking. Obi-Wan knew that he would go after him no matter what. Anakin always blamed Obi-Wan for all the bad stuff. I agree on that one, Lawrence. Leia is she doesn't trust people. She's very, very sure of herself. She's not physically afraid of anything. But she's emotionally, when you meet her, emotionally not in A New Hope. Yeah, David, you're right. She's not emotionally mature enough to deal with a lot of personal things. And I think The Empire Strikes Back, the 3 years between that and that, shows a lot of growth on her part. Okay, she starts to be accept her own vulnerabilities. Anakin did not do that at all. And as you can see in his Vader form, he did not do that. He really, I mean, this is a character that absolutely truly believes in his own power and cannot accept anything but his own power. And it's going to come and bite him in the ass, and it does. Okay? It does. And it's really interesting to me watching all this and watching it and seeing it like happen, that people don't get it. You know, people don't get it, that being humiliated like that and realizing that the emperor is going to see you and call you out is worse than being beheaded. Okay. You know, it's, and people don't understand that. And I'm not going to call Anakin a narcissist. Narcissists don't love their partners the way Anakin loved Padme. All right. He just has an enormous belief in himself, and he doesn't trust the Force. He's not patient with it. He doesn't understand the plan, and he's not giving himself over to the plan. Okay, this is, look, if you're a religious person like I am, you understand that there's a plan, and you might not understand it. But if you give yourself over to the plan, okay, that's the problem with Anakin. Well, Anakin was so physically good at what he did, he didn't think he needed to learn anything else. And the thing about the Jedi, and like Jedi like Yoda, is that they were far above that. All right? They were far above the mere dueling and the physicality of mastering the Force, Force push, and all the rest of it. And Anakin wasn't interested in meditating. Yeah, short-sighted. Guess what else? The fans are short-sighted. Our brothers in the fandom are short-sighted. All right? And I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. You know, you go onto a channel, you want to watch and have fun, and instead, you know, you're told the show that it's really good, that you really like sucks. And then you find out the person saying that hasn't even watched it. You know, and I think some of them who haven't watched it are afraid they're going to like it. So they don't watch it, so they don't have to sit there and deny that they like it. And I think some of the people who did watch it liked it. But they're going to say they didn't like it for virtue signaling points with their buddies and clickbait money. All right. If look, I'm gonna say this: if YouTube's a side hustle for you, then be honest. If it's your job, you have a responsibility to your subscribers to be honest. Now, if you can intellectually tell me and do it in a way that I'll understand why you didn't like the show, okay, fine. But if all you're gonna do is say everything Disney does sucks, what is that? Jay is right. It's vindictive. It's shallow. It's short-sighted. Okay? There's a lot of shit going down at Disney. Okay? A lot of it. And it's going to be very, very interesting going forward what happens next. Okay? I mean, I'm going to tell you guys. I was 9. I got to see it the Sunday after it opened, of the weekend it opened nationwide. And I'll never forget walking out of the theater feeling just this exhilaration, you know? And, you know, you're welcome, Jay. I mean, what does vindictiveness get you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, this is Steph. I gotta rock. I'm gonna. I got a message from Cameron, so I'm gonna check and see what he had to say. You know, look me up on Twitter, KO Gorgeous 1. That's my Twitter account. See you guys.